Well, I can't speak for the UK Treasury. That's the Finance Ministry of government. The Chancellor of the Exchequer in 2019 decided that he would like to have a review of the economics of biodiversity, and he wanted to commission that. Why, I cannot say, but I'm glad he did, because I think this subject really does belong to ministries of finance everywhere, not just the UK. And yes, he approached me. He announced in Parliament that he had commissioned me to do this. He had invited me to do this, and I was given a team, and we submitted the report, gosh, I think in about 18 months' time. That's an easy one to answer. I've been working on in this area for about 40 years, non-stop. It's been sort of an abiding interest of mine, research interest of mine, largely because it's a very beautiful subject to bring nature in as a genuine ingredient in economic reasoning, by which I really mean that the human economy is embedded in nature. So if you don't have nature in it, you're really missing something extremely important. So when you do that, the subject becomes truly very beautiful, because ecology is a very beautiful subject. The earth sciences are a very beautiful subject. So then you amalgamate the human economy, which is hard enough, but also very exciting to study, and pull them together. It wasn't easy, because I've been working on it for about 40 years, I think. Yes, if you like, the template for the review was in a book I published in 1982 called The Control of Resources. But at that time, I didn't have anything like the architecture in mind as was created in the review. So I've been working on this for such a long time, so when I was asked, I just had no hesitation. I asked my wife, of course, as to whether she would think it's a reasonable thing to do, and she thought I would be insane to say no.
Did you ask your children?
I don't think I asked my children. They've grown up. They don't live with us anymore. But I knew they would be very happy that I would do it. That's a very, very good question, and a very, very difficult one to answer. Bear in mind, the review is the review addresses the citizen. In my preface, I made it clear I was not writing for the Chancellor of the Exchequer. I was writing for the citizen because, and your question shows why. Because each of us comes into life, and therefore are the part of nature that we make use of. Some of it, of course, we all commonly use, but some parts we use on our own, privately, if you like. So the perception of nature, or the idea of biodiversity, for a fisherman off the coast of southern India would be very different from that of a hunter-gatherer, would be very different from somebody who grazes cattle, would be very different from middle-class people like yourself and myself. So in some sense, what I needed to do was to provide a grammar. It's like writing a language, and different people use the language in different ways depending on their needs to communicate. So the review is a grammar. It's not addressing the cattle owner. It's not addressing the fisherman, although there are boxes on fisheries, on mangroves, and so forth. But that's in a way to illustrate how the grammar can be used. How do they see nature? How do they manage their assets? These people who are very poor, maybe in far-flung countries, and people who I was writing for, at least the first set of people I was writing for, wouldn't necessarily know them or know of them, except as tourists maybe. Of course, I'm a professor, so goes without saying, graduate students in general were very much in my mind. But even even them, I was not really concentrating on writing for them. I really wanted to address the citizen because I feel it is up to us to take the matter seriously. And if you're lucky to be in a democratic society, you might even be able to have some effect, if you like. But I should say that I didn't want to cheat the reader, which is why the full review is quite technical, because the subject is technical. I mean, you have to learn some ecology, and of course you're using sophisticated economic reasoning from the household level up to the international level. So you're covering a huge range of institutions. You're providing a grammar which can absorb all these institutions. And as a result, the main review is 600 pages long. But my wife told me about halfway through, or as she saw some of the chapters being written, she said, look, of course, you're a professor, you've got to do what you want to do, but nobody's going to read it. So prepare a non-technical short version for the person you say you're writing for, which is the citizen. So I prepared a 100-page version as well, which has no mathematics, it has no technicalities. So they are both there on the website, okay? The book the review is really not about biodiversity directly. It's about ecosystems, mangroves, wetlands, coral reefs, grasslands, forests. Now, these are capital assets. They're assets just like tables and buildings and so forth. When I say just like, I mean they're assets. They're durable and they can be destroyed, just as you can break up this table if you wish to. But for a variety of reasons, these assets are not managed well, unlike tables and buildings for which we pay, and we like to take care of them because we paid. So we're not managing these vital assets, which are producing goods and services for us, which we use all the time. So what I did was to try and to view the economics of biodiversity as an asset management problem, okay? From the poorest person to the richest. We're all asset managers, actually, all right? So you can see that there is a coherence in the grammar. Now, the trick then is to say, how does this asset management problem look if you happen to be a fisherman, if you happen to be a woodcutter, if you happen to be a cattle grazer, if you happen to be an investor, okay? So that's the unifying idea.